Oh wow, this is an interesting angle right here. Okay, let's raise you up a little bit because I don't know what the hell is going on. All right, well, let's just do some camera adjustments because I don't know what the fuck is going on. That's what we gotta do. Yes, perfect. So let's just start off as we usually do. I'm gonna give, one of my fucking sermons as I see fit. And this is going to couple up with the videos that I just posted in regards to belief systems, okay? So when you believe something, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's just going to start resonating as true for you. So whether it's true or false, whether it's real or imagined, the mind of your subconscious is designed to just pick that up and then compute that into the web of the matrix, where matrix means mother or breeder. So it is the outside reflection, and it is reflecting back that which you are breeding, what you are incubating in your mind, and then it gets reflected back by the outer screen of space, as Neville says. So when we look at belief systems, I want you to understand, okay, number one, belief systems, they're all BS, right? Because belief systems are BS, but really everything is a lie unless you believe it to be true. This is why you could have 12 different motherfuckers looking at the same thing and you'll get 12 different reasons as to why that's going on or what that is, because everyone is interpreting it differently depending on their perception, depending perhaps on other belief systems that they have going on within them. Okay, so anything that you have been taught by anyone else, unless it resonates with you and you accept it as a truth, it is a lie. Now, there's a book called The Four Agreements, and I think, you might have heard of this. It's kind of like a spiritual book, but it talks about, the law of attraction, whatever. It's called The Four Agreements. And in there, it's spoken about, if you accept something as true, then that thing will end up being true for you. Whether it's true or not, you have to accept it first. So someone can say something to you, so a situation can be presented to you, but if you do not accept it as true, it cannot be true in your reality. And if you do not accept something, it cannot present itself, okay? Because think of it like this, right? Let's just say a common belief. Okay, what's up, everyone? Thank you for joining. So when you are going about your life in the matrix, right? It's common for motherfuckers to say, unicorns don't appear out of nowhere in short fucking rainbows, okay? So if you believe that a unicorn can show up out of nowhere and short fucking rainbows, you're gonna start to see evidence of that. Whether it's true or not for anyone else, you're having your own specific perception of reality. So whatever you assume to be true is true. Now, how belief systems are built up, typically, we have these societal belief systems that are built up, by the education indoctrination system, which is about the videos I just posted. If you want more information, check those out. But you are basically programmed a certain way to abide by rules in society. Okay, so when you're a conscious manifester, you now understand that everything that you have been taught by the outside goes to shit. It's only what you say it is. So if you say that you can make $10 million manifest out of thin air, and that's what's true for you, and that's what you accept as a fact, then that's what it is. Okay, this is why what Neville Goddard says, when you are taking anything and you don't believe it, the more you repeat it, the more you repeat it, the more you repeat it, it's going to become a belief, and then that belief is going to harden into fact. And now here's the thing with manifesting, okay, with belief systems. You can just say, okay, I identify that I have a limiting belief system. Here's what it is. I want it gone. Poof, vanish like a fart in the wind, okay? And that shit'll be gone. You can do that. but you might not be able to do that for every belief system. So it really just depends, you know, because manifestation is, it's specific to the individual. So someone can just say, okay, I recognize this as a limiting belief. Out the door it goes, and that's it. You never need to think about it. You just, that's it. It's like case closed, goodbye. You can do that. But for something else, how to build a new belief system is the repetition. Just like you go to school and you're taught 1 + 1 is 2, or I pledge allegiance to the flag, whatever the fuck it is, right? It's the repetition of the thing that's building that belief in you, okay? So when you have a belief system that's saying that you've always been broke, how you reprogram that, if you can't just immediately say, no, I've always been wealthy, and then just move on with your day, what you're going to do is just say, I've always been wealthy. Oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Ego is going to kick in, but look at your bank balance, homie. Oh, but this bill is due, but that bill is due. And it's your duty then as God consciousness to override the system and say, no, we are uninstalling this app about being broke because I've always been wealthy, and that's it. And that's where the repetition kicks in. So you don't need techniques to manifest, but for some things, it just, you know, it might not compute so easily to your subconscious mind to get that old belief out and the new belief in. And the repetition is your work. The repetition is your job. And, you know, the hardest thing with manifesting is really changing the way that you think, especially if you thought a certain way about a particular area for the majority of your experience in the 3D Earth matrix. So you do not need techniques. You could just say, it's done, bye, case closed, and never look at it again. Oh, thank you. And with some of them, you know, depending, you might need to go in with that repetition. And the reason why, like, motherfuckers like to say you don't need to do a technique, all you need to do is feel good. But if you feel good and you do not control your thoughts, the matrix is not going to know what to give you, okay? So you could feel good and get free ice cream every day for the rest of your life, but is that getting you your fucking millions? No, because you just kind of left it open. So you need to direct the feeling. This is why when Neville says feeling is a secret, he's not talking about your fucking emotions, okay? Even with Abraham Hicks, they're not talking about your fucking emotions. Your emotions are all over the place. They fluctuate throughout the day. Feeling is the secret, is the naturalness of the desire for you. So when you are saying, my name is so-and-so, I'm wearing this color shirt, you're not feeling any way about it, right? It's not even a belief, it's a knowing, but it is what it is, right? And that's the sensation in your vessel that is ideal for the conditions for your desire to manifest. You're not feeling shit. It's the naturalness of it. This is why a lot of times when someone has been manifesting something and then they take their focus off of it for just 1 second, they're not thinking about it, right? Which means that maybe they're doing everything right on paper, right? They have their good mental diet, they're visualizing, they're affirming, they're doing fucking everything, but it's like they still have a little bit of resistance. Maybe it's the timing. Oh, is this going to happen? Am I doing something wrong? Oh, but what about this? What about that? Right? But they're 90% in the new story, okay? But then they take their focus for 1 second off of it. They go do something else and boom, the thing shows up. It shows up because your feeling about it is neutral, because you can be affirming but still be in a state of resistance, like in the back of your mind, is this working? But you're sure it is and you're confident, but then you take your focus entirely off the thing. This brings you back to baseline fucking neutral, where is the God state of feeling, the naturalness of your desire. Because when you have the thing, when you know your name, when you know what color shirt you're wearing, you're not thinking about it. There's no resistance whatsoever. You're not affirming, I'm wearing a black shirt, right? It's just there. There's no feeling. There's nothing. So this is why your manifestations a lot of times will come when you're not thinking about it, because you have achieved the feeling state. Even if you're not focused on it, the naturalness of the sensation in your vessel, there is no resistance to the thing. I'm not sitting here fighting saying that I'm wearing a fucking blue shirt when I'm wearing a black shirt. I'm not trying to fight it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not even focused on it. It's a naturalness of the sensation. And I hate when motherfuckers walk around and be like, oh, but you don't want the thing. You just want to feel good. No. It's important to feel good, yes, because you want to have a good experience in the 3D realm, but if you're just feeling good for no fucking reason, right? Think about it. You could fucking, whatever, you could feel good, right? But if your mind, if your thoughts are not focused on what the fuck you want, what are you feeling good about? Like, what am I supposed to deliver to you, master, says the Matrix, because you're just feeling good, but you're all over the fucking place. Okay. So that's what I got for you in regards to that. It's you want to have a good experience. So if you're walking around feeling triggered and, you're feeling anxious or angry or whatever the fuck, then yes, do everything you need to do for yourself to get yourself to baseline neutral. But that doesn't mean that that's what is manifesting. Okay, you can be feeling like shit, but if you've been dominantly in the state of the wish fulfilled, which it's happening, but then you have one off day, the shit can still manifest when you're feeling like shit. So don't think that you have to walk around this fucking zen state. And that's the thing that pisses me off with the manifestation community and the spiritual community is that they're so closely linked that motherfuckers try to intertwine the two. And spirituality in and of itself is a belief. Manifestation is not a belief. Manifestation is a fact. And this is what I speak about. The law is the law. There is no feeling. The law does not give a fuck about what you feel. The law is just, what do you want? Okay, cool. So you're focused on, I want my fucking $50 million. That's it. Boom, boom, boom. 50 mil, 50 mil, 50 mil. You're focused on that. Okay. But you might have some resistance. Oh, but how's it going to happen? Oh, do I need to buy a lotto ticket? Right? The ego might try to throw you some fucking weird shit, but you're just like, no, I got my 50 mil. Okay. The second, let's say you go and you hanging out with your friend, you go to the fucking club and you're not even thinking about the 50 mil because you're just having a good time. Boom. You just see a fucking wire transfer from a dead uncle that you ain't even know that you fucking have, and he fucking sent you fucking $50 million, and you're like, whoa, what is that? Do you see what I'm saying? So you don't need to be feeling hyper good, but if you're feeling really good, you still want to direct your thoughts because the law is the law. And if you're just feeling good, what are you feeling good about? The shit can get chaotic. There could just be like weird shit going on. Like you could feel good about getting a parking spot. You could feel good about getting a free cup of coffee. Like all these motherfuckers always talk about those stereotypical ones. But in reality, is that getting you your 50 milli? Is that getting you your fucking SP? Like, do you see what I'm saying? The law needs to be directed because the law is verbatim, okay? And the law, when you really are in this manifestation journey, because you're always fucking manifesting and you can see how you created shit that you didn't want, you can see how created shit that you do want, and you look at it, you can say, wow, what was I thinking before that occurred? I was thinking it. You don't say I was feeling a certain way. You say I was thinking that, because okay, even if let's say, oh, I felt a certain way, you still got to put a thought to how you were feeling. It is a thought. Okay, so this is why you could be feeling good and your thoughts are shitty. You can still attract shitty circumstances, and you could be feeling shitty, but your thoughts are in alignment and you could still attract good circumstances because the law is the law. And this is what I talk about. I don't talk about no spiritual shit like you got to sit up here and say love and light like a fake ass motherfucker. Okay, you don't have to sit up here and fucking, meditate with yoga beads and shit like that. You don't have to have a fucking mala in your hand, whatever the fuck that shit is. All you have to do is just keep your thoughts on what you want, no matter what the fuck is happening in the 3D. So if your 3D looks like a fucking shit show, you say, I'm the Lord and there is none else, and I don't know what the fuck this circus is, but I'm not checked into this shit. I never was, and I fucking won't be. That's all you have to do. Okay, so I like to talk fast. That's why, like, if any of you notice my videos, I always speed them up because I talk fast, because when I'm talking, especially when I'm talking about this shit, it's just, It's just, it's fluid, it's flowing, and like my mouth cannot keep up with the fucking thoughts in my mind. I'm like, oh my God, so I try to spit it out as fast as I can, and I don't like to sit there for like 6 years. Some motherfuckers, like, they sit in the video and they're like, hey guys, we're gonna talk about, I'm like, I lost interest, I scrolled away, fuck that, because time don't exist, everything is now, but let's get this shit done now, okay? So that's just me. I like to just, spit facts fast. And the fact of the matter is, the law doesn't give a fuck about your feelings. It's not like, oh, send them love and light even if they fucked you over. No, motherfucker. Who the fuck is doing that? And that's to go back to my original point, where it's like your spiritual awareness is there's still a belief that there's karma, or that there's morals, or that there's ethics, but that too is a limiting belief. And the law does not care. If the law says, okay, you believe in karma, so then you're going to conduct your life this way. You believe in morals, you believe in societal constructs, so you're going to conduct your life that way, because the law has to mirror exactly what you want. So you can say, I hate this motherfucker. You could wish everything bad upon them, the fucking 10 plagues of Egypt or whatever the fuck, okay? And all right, that's what I say. I am the Lord and there is none else. And there's nothing going to come back to bite you in the ass unless you fucking agree to it. So that's where I have a bone to pick with spiritual motherfuckers that try to talk about manifestation, because the law is the law and there is no belief to it. It's just, what do you want? What do you not want? If you want it, you declare it as such. If you do not want it, clear it from your mind. That's the quickest way to get anything out of your experience, is to not pay attention to it. And I'm the biggest fan of just saying, that shit never happened. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, what pic, what text, what email? What are you talking about? Okay. That's the quickest way, because that's the law. That's not spirituality. This is the law. This is, and you don't have to believe me. Okay. You don't have to believe no motherfucker. You try it for yourself. You don't matter what the fuck you feel, and you just keep your thoughts in alignment. You just get a mantra, whatever the fuck it is, what's the most important thing for you right now. Okay, you want a specific motherfucker, you want a specific amount of money, you want a specific job, you want a specific home, huh? You just focus on that. You just make one statement. I am living at this address. I am married to, I have $8,000 million in my fucking bank account, whatever the fuck. Just keep saying it. It don't matter. Just make it fun. If I could snap my fucking fingers, I would. I'd make a little dance to it. Cause me, I like to jam out. I got my earbuds, and I just like to think about, because I'm super visual. Again, you don't need to fucking visualize shit, but me, I just picture the shit that I want. Boom, 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 like fucking mind movies. And I jam out to my fucking music, and I get my stuff on, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, that's some good shit. So everyone's manifestation technique is different, but here's the thing with affirmations, is that everyone can do it, because everyone has an inner dialogue. Not everyone can visualize. This is why I don't preach about visualization. Not everyone wants to take the time to sit and script or make a vision board, right? But you're always talking to yourself in your mind. You're not going to escape that. If there's anyone here who doesn't have an inner dialogue, I'd love to hear about it, because I've never heard of such a thing. Okay. But this is why the affirmations work, because everyone can do it. It's universal, and the law is the law, and it's going by your word. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Boom. I am the Lord and there is none else. It don't say I am the Lord, and spirituality said that there's karma. And this planet is in retrograde, and so this, come on, and I believe in astrology, okay? I like tarot as well, but I understand it's a belief system. That's why I tell everyone here, if you're looking at that, you're still the commander-in-chief, you know what I mean? Any belief system, okay? Even religion is a belief system. That's something that motherfuckers get their fucking panties in a bunch over, like, but I believe this religion. Okay, that's great. You can believe in religion and still be a conscious manifester, okay? It's just, you might believe that there is, a God that you perceive as separate from you that is granting you these things, and it'll still play out as true that God gave you this, but it's because you believed that God gave you that. You see what I'm saying? It's all the belief. Everything is belief. So I can sit here and say that this motherfucking coffee right here just granted me all my fucking wishes, and that'll be true. I can make a shrine to this cup right here. I'll be like, I bow down, I hail to you, I worship you, fucking Starbucks, and you're gonna grant me my wishes. If I truly am into that, then that's what's gonna play out for me. Okay? So anything that you declare as the truth is the truth, and that's what goes to my original statement. If you don't agree with something, you don't accept it as true. So for me, I never agree with school and indoctrination, none of that. It just never resonated with me. And I was like, I don't need to fucking do this. I don't give a fuck about any of this goddamn shit. Fucking learn about Revolutionary War and shit. I don't give a fuck. And who was even there? Ain't no one in the chat was at the Revolutionary War. I mean, unless you believe in past lives and you're gonna say, oh, my past life self was there. Okay, I mean, whatever. But I mean, I'm saying none of us in the chat right now in this vessel were at the Revolutionary War, unless we like remote channeled, or even if that shit is true, we don't know if that shit is true. Do you see what I'm saying? So anything that you are taught by someone else, you're just expected to believe that it's true. So I don't believe nothing unless I agree with it. And that goes for anything. So this is why, even when I'm sitting up here preaching to the fucking choir, don't believe everything I say. If what I say don't resonate with you, it don't need to resonate with you, but just test the law yourself. Okay, if your ego wants to test the law and just say, okay, law, you know what, this is my new mantra, this is what you're going to give me, and just say it over and over and over. You don't have to feel a thing. Okay, you could be faking an orgasm, you don't need to feel nothing. You could just say, I want this, I want this, I have this, I have this, it's mine now, it's mine now. Boom, boom, boom. Watch what happens. You're going to start to see that shit, I promise you. But don't believe me if you want to conduct an experiment, because I conduct experiments all the fucking time. And that shit is fucking fun. So don't believe me. I'm just, this is my fucking channel right here. So I talk about what resonates with me. But I promise you, the law is law. And anyone who's telling you anything about karma or soulmates or twin flame, oh man, bro, that shit is, that's a fucking belief system. It's a belief system, okay? Because this motherfucker could be whoever the fuck you specify them to be. You could nickname your specific person a fucking toilet bowl. Oh, this is my toilet bowl. Oh, we have such a good dynamic when I sit on them. Oh, man. I mean, seriously. So whatever the fuck you say is true is going to be true. Okay. So yeah, that's what I got. I just, like, legit. I don't know how long I was fucking preaching. I'm going to try to keep these shorter because, the longer they get, the longer they take to fucking download and then upload. I'm so glad that I was able to like put the other one on YouTube. I think it was like an hour, 26 minutes, somewhere around there, but I don't want to keep them that long. But I feel like it revs me up when I get started with, you know, a fucking sermon. So that's how I roll. All right. So I got some, you know what I got on today? I got on some 80s fucking music here. Fuck yeah. Because I be in different moods. A lot of times I have like trance. And today I got my 80s. I have no fucking idea why. But, you know. Well, yeah, everything. You just say this is happening because I'm getting what I want no matter what the fuck it is. And it will be true because you make the rules, you know. There's no one else. There is no one else. That's why I am the Lord and there is none else, okay? And I have it over here because that's the one that I'm going to keep referring back to. And it's Isaiah 45 in the KJV, which the Bible, in my opinion, is one of the greatest manifestation tools. Because he's spitting some wild shit. Yeah, Isaiah 45:5. I'm the Lord and there is none else. There is no God beside me. That's it. Okay. So this is really what you want to think of. And I like the KJV because purportedly it's the most accurate, written, whatever. And I like the way it's very like, like mystical or metaphorical written. But when you are looking at anything, okay, if you are looking at a 3D circumstance, if you're looking at what a motherfucker said, at what a motherfucker did, it's not I am the Lord and this motherfucker right here is telling me what to do. It's I am the Lord and there is none else. So however that situation presented itself to you, it literally is meaningless until you give it meaning. So that's why when an non-ideal circumstance pops up, if you just honestly were to ignore it, and I know, listen, sometimes the 3D, you know, it's just, it might be very triggering for you to ignore it, but my suggestion is to just ignore it, because you are the Lord and there is none else. And if you're just like, the fuck is this pestilence? How dare you bother me? You know what I mean? Like whatever the fuck it is, and just you turn your attention away from it. Like I said before, okay, the law, the Lord, as Florence Scovel Shinn likes to make that analogy, right? If you replace Lord with law in the Bible, you get the fucking law. If you don't focus on something, that thing cannot appear, okay? Because you're just like, what is this? Like you assign it nothing. It is nothing. Okay, so imagine you are the Lord and there is none else, and a 3D circumstance pops up and you're just like, and you look the other way. It cannot exist. It cannot continue to exist. The only reason why 3D circumstances continue to exist is because you're focused on it. So really the thing with, you know, manifestation is the mental discipline, because, you know, like I said in the beginning, you were just trained, you were indoctrinated to take the 3D very seriously and to look at it as a fact, just because you can touch it. Okay. But it's not a fact. Nothing is fact until you say that it is a fact, until you accept it as true. Like in that book, The Four Agreements, nothing can be true unless you accept it as true. Okay, you are the Lord. I was gonna say Lord and law at the same time. Yeah, you are the L. Fuck yeah. Okay, so when you understand that you are the L, what happens is that nothing, like you are everyone and everything, right? So in theory, you are the fucking 3D circumstance that you don't like, but you're also the one assigning it the meaning. Do I not like this, or is this just here like neutral, right? Like, think about it. Okay, if you're sitting in front of a TV that ain't turned on, there's nothing on the screen. So you're not tuned into anything. You're just, okay, like it's not catching your attention. You're not fighting with it. You're not saying, oh my God, I hate that the TV is off. You're just like, okay, yeah, I don't feel like watching anything right now. And you turn your focus elsewhere. Maybe you go on TikTok. Maybe you go shower. I don't know what the fuck, okay? But if you turn your attention away from something and not fight with it, not argue with it, and I mean, friends, I mean in your fucking mind. I mean in your mind. I don't mean you physically out there, you know, boxing motherfuckers, okay? Although some of you might be, and that's cool, because whatever the fuck you gotta do, you gotta do. But you ain't fighting in your mind. You're not having no fucking mental argument with the 3D and trying to justify why this happened or why that happened, or, you know, because we've all fucking done it, bro. We've all fucking done it. We've all had fucking imaginal arguments in our fucking head. Like, I mean, man, if I would have said this, I would have been such a pimp, and you thinking about the good shit that you could have fucking said later. And guess what? That's just making that situation bigger, right? So it takes the mental discipline, because the law is so specific. You as God, you as the director of the script, you have to really turn those mental arguments. You either shut them off completely, or you do something that is easier for you. Okay, now let's say you get into an argument with your SP. It might not be the easiest thing for your ego to look at that like, oh, well, you know, this happened because I'm getting what I want. You might be fucking pissed. So, you know, you might just want to be like, you know what? It doesn't matter what happened. That was handled perfectly by me, because I handle everything perfectly, and SP knows I'm perfect. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go and revise a whole scene. I mean, you can if you want to, but if you riled up, you know, triggered and shit, it you know, the ego might be kicking and screaming if you try to say, oh, but I love SP and SP loves you. You'd be like, motherfucker, they just told you this right here to your face. So it's really about just calming the ego down in those moments where it wants to fight, because your God self is not fighting anyone or anything. Your God self is just like, okay, here we are. So this happened, right? It's just because it's everything, right? So your God self sees that the argument with SP happened over here, but your God self also sees the peaceful, loving relationship that you have with SP over here, because you cannot have one without the other. It's the same thing with different degree. The Kybalion, another book that, you know, might interest some individuals, where they talk about poles, okay? Like and unlike are the same thing. So you dislike something that your SP said at the opposite end of the spectrum. Remember, God is everything, okay? God sees light and darkness. So God is like, yeah, the SP is so fucking in love with me. And the God can see that the argument happened at the same time. But because the God self is everything, it's just like everything is neutral. It doesn't matter. It's just your ego that's getting riled up over those certain things. Okay. So you cannot have the absence of your SP unless you also had the relationship of your SP. Because that's balance. Everything, it's the same thing, different degree. Okay, so when you think of a relationship, there's lack of a relationship, and then there's the full body, you know, sexual healing relationship. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot have one without the other, because it's the same fucking thing. It's just your awareness is tuned to the lack of the relationship rather than, you know, the relationship being fulfilled in the 3D. But your God self sees both, so it's like, the ego is having some sort of tantrum down here. So, all right, you know what I mean? So, the best thing for you to do if you're triggered, if you can't get to the other end of the pole and be like, oh my God, my SP loves me so much, you just say, you know what? Everything happened perfectly. Yeah, they fucking, you know, I did a drive-by outside their fucking house and they fucking caught me. But you know what? That shit was great. I handled that so perfectly. Oh, man. You can make it funny, sarcastic if you want. Like, you know, if you can't get into that full lovey-dovey version of your SP at that point. But just something to take a little bit of the fucking edge off of that situation. That's the best thing for you to do if you've gotten triggered in the 3D and you've, like, reacted from the ego perspective. I don't know what is going on right now, because my fucking... What the fuck? Oh my God. Oh, I was not able to adjust the volume, and I feel like I was talking super loud because the volume was super high. Okay, I think this is better. So anyway, not that I don't talk loud naturally, but that's what I got for you, because so many individuals are just super triggered by SPs, and I get why the SP topic can be so triggering, because it can appear as if the SP is having free will, right? It can appear that way compared to, let's say, a house or money or something like that, right? It can appear that a person, whether it's like in a romantical sense or if it's like a friendship or a co-worker or whatever the fuck type of relation, okay, it can appear like the person has free will. It can appear that they're doing shit and saying shit, right? That's very triggering. Whereas like an inanimate object or even money, right? It doesn't tend to trigger on an emotional level the way the SPs do, because, you know, with money triggers, the trigger with money is like you perceive that you don't have it, right? Like, but the money ain't posting shit, the money ain't talking shit, the money ain't going out to the fucking club without you, you know what I mean? So it's like with SPs, the emotions tend to be really heightened, because it can seem like they are having their own free will, but they're not having their own free will. Every person, okay, even if it's your fucking best homie, even if it's your fucking parents, even if it's whoever the fuck it is, don't need to be in a fucking, you know, suck it type of way. It could just be a regular motherfucker. They are still behaving based off of your beliefs about them specifically, or based off of your beliefs in, let's say, if you're friends, right? If you say, oh, I always have the best friends, and everyone who shows up as a friend, they're going to be the best. If you say, oh, I have the best family, then everyone in your family is going to show up as the best, right? So it's like, it could be that, it could be a belief about where that person falls in relevance to you, or it could be a belief about that particular individual. So let's say you have, you always say, all my relationships are so perfect, everyone always treats me with love and kindness, right? And that you genuinely believe that, but then you got with the motherfucker that you heard was a fucking hoe bag. You heard they were like, the skank of the fucking town, okay? But you have a good relationship belief system, but then you're like, ooh, but then you're like, wait a second, but this motherfucker I heard was a hoe bag. You still had to accept that as true. So now the belief system isn't about relationships, because you're like, but I don't have a bad relationship belief system. It's just about this one particular motherfucker. So where did that belief system come from? It came from through the grapevine, motherfuckers telling you that this is what they're doing, right? So you have to really isolate, what is the belief about, is it about their relation to you in general, or is it about them in particular? Because you could say that you have a great relationship with everyone in your family, but there's this one cousin who's fucking off. Guess what? How they gonna act? How they gonna act towards you? They're gonna act weird, right? And maybe you don't even think that. Maybe your auntie fucking told you at the cookout, like, listen, this motherfucker, they a little, and you're like, okay, but then you accepted that as true. So now that even though that motherfucker, you had the choice whether to believe that rumor or not, you accepted it. Now you're going to start noticing that that particular cousin is a little fucking weird. Okay. Like, that's just how it works. So it can be very strange how this shit plays out so specifically for exact individuals, especially with people, because it can seem, right? Because a motherfucker is animated. They're not a fucking house that's just standing there, right? You're like, I want to manifest my dream house, but your dream house ain't talking shit, posting shit, you know what I mean? Your dream house it's just there, okay? So you're like, yeah, all right, like, it seems plausible, because it seems like you're animated, but the house is stagnant, right? But another motherfucker, because they are also an expression of consciousness that is animated and lively, it can seem like they have their own free will, but they're still performing based off of your expectations of them. And I have done this, and it has literally worked the next day. Not even for motherfuckers I really cared so much about, just motherfuckers that, like, I would come across in passing. I would think a certain person was rude at a place I would always go to, and then that's how they would show up for me. And I'm like, I just decided one day, I'm like, you know what, this motherfucker is cool. Boom. Instantaneous change. That motherfucker was cool with me from there on out. Like, just always smiling and very, very personable, pleasurable, not in like a sexual way, but you know what I mean, in like a professional way. And like, it was instantaneous. But I'm like, I fucking created that version of them to be rude, and then I created that version of them to be fun or, outgoing or whatever, but I still saw that it was coming from me. Now, here's the thing with SPs that, you smash in, or you want to smash. The thing with SPs, which is why they might seem more difficult to create that instantaneous change, is because a lot of you are, you have SPs that you have a history with, even though time doesn't fucking exist, but the ego, because the ego is like, no, but they did this 2 years ago, 5 days, 6 hours, 23 minutes and 7 seconds. They did that. Don't you remember? And I mean, listen, it's really up to you to just nip that old version of them and say, no, that's not how they show up. And again, you can do this instantaneously, but a lot of times when someone is manifesting a motherfucker that they have history with, all those memories come flooding in, and you get fucking reanimated and you get fucking mad. And then, but guess what? They're still receiving that information from you. They're still receiving it. So they're going to do more shit that's going to make you mad. Not because they have their own free will, but because you are holding them hostage in your fucking mind. I said it. You're holding your specific motherfucker. You're holding the old version of them hostage. You got him in a chokehold. You did this, motherfucker. And that shit was 16 years ago. But right? You remember that from the ego perspective, but time doesn't exist. Your God self is like, we're here now. All is perfect. And your ego is, right? That's what your ego is fucking doing. Making crazy faces and shit. Okay? You're holding your specific person hostage in a version of them that doesn't even technically exist. It doesn't exist right now. And that's why a lot of you are not seeing movement with the specific person. You're holding that version hostage. You keep focusing on it. You keep thinking about it. You might be doing good with your visualizations and your affirmations. You might be doing fucking amazing with that. But then remember what this motherfucker said. Whew, man. Okay? That's what it is. So every time anyone in here, if you're manifesting a specific motherfucker and you're doing everything good, but then you go back and then you start having the fake fucking arguments in your mind about them, you're holding them fucking hostage. You're holding a version of them that no longer even exists hostage, and you're bringing that version more into the now moment to reanimate it and reanimate it and reanimate it. And that's why you're not getting movement, or you're getting hot and cold behavior, because you're focused on them being loving and amazing to you, but then you go back to the story that fucking happened. You're holding them fucking hostage in your fucking mind, and that version wants to be let go. That's why I said in my fucking video, if it feels like shit, you must have quit. Let that motherfucker go. Let it go. Let it be free. Let it be free. And I don't know how you're going to do this, because remember, everyone processes things different, okay? But I will tell you this. If you are someone, you have a lot of like emotions. I mean shit emotions in regards to a specific person. If you just feeling like shit, if you fucking mad, if you triggered, you have resentment, hostility, bitterness towards them, you need to let that out, because those are your emotions. Remember, I am the Lord and there is none else. And no, you are not your emotions, but you are claiming them in regards to that situation with that person. They made me feel this way. No, they fucking didn't. They didn't do shit. You did. Because you had a version or a belief system that they responded to, because they have no choice, because they're a fucking puppet. And then you made yourself feel like that because you already fucking feeling like that, or you already had a belief system about that, which you associated negative emotions with, and that's why you fucking did that to yourself. And I ain't here to sugarcoat shit. And I'm not saying you deserve to be treated poorly. I'm not saying you deserve to be abused or cheated on or abandoned or you didn't, okay? Because your God self is just all is good, all is well, all is perfect. But your ego fucking, there was something in your ego that recognized a belief system, maybe something you witnessed, maybe a societal program, maybe something you experienced before. Your ego carried that fucking with it. Okay, so your ego is there. All right, I said I'd fucking talk. Oh, I can't talk as fast as my fucking mind is flowing with these words. But okay, so like I just said, you holding that specific version of your SP hostage. Okay, you holding them hostage, but you got to be aware that your belief systems that you hold about relationships in general, you be holding those shits hostage too, motherfucker, and you don't even realize it. Okay, so you're holding let's say you let's say your first relationship, you're fucking whoever it was, you're fucking 16. This motherfucker cheated on you, okay? Then that shit, you didn't like it. That shit sucked, okay? But your ego held on to it as part of the protection mechanism. Okay, so this motherfucker got cheated on. Now I gotta protect this motherfucker from here on out. Anyone that comes into the sphere of the relationship sector, I must warn this motherfucker. Beware, they gonna cheat on you just like that other motherfucker did. You're holding the cheating story hostage. Or it could be an abuse story, or it can be someone who, oh, this is the one that's always going around. You attract narcissists, right? Oh, beware, that motherfucker's a narcissist. You're holding that perception hostage, or your ego is, okay? So you have to be aware that you have stories that you are holding hostage. Something happened one time at a now moment which no longer exists. And you're carrying it with you. This is why I fucking say in my videos, travel light. Every moment is brand new. You travel light. I carry no baggage. No baggage. Nothing. I'm just, my hands are free. I'm chilling. That's how you want to be. That's how you want to conduct yourself. Every motherfucker is brand new. Every moment is brand new. If you're keeping hostages, my dude, they want to be let go. That's why it feels like shit, those old fucking stories, because you're holding them hostage and they're trying to fucking escape. That energy is trying to escape. It's like, yo, get me the fuck out of here, bro. You got them locked in a you got them locked in a fucking dungeon. They got a fucking ball and chain attached to their ankle, bro, and you're fucking holding them hostage, and that's why you feel like shit, because they're trying to escape. You're like, no. But you don't want that shit either, but it's fucking familiar to your fucking ego. So you're holding them fucking hostage. They don't want to fucking be there. Oh my god. Oh shit, this shit is great. That was a great, damn, that was a fucking great analogy. So that's how I crack myself up. I'm sober right now, just in case. This is just a coffee, ain't nothing funny business in here. But I crack myself up on the daily, because I'm like, yo, these fucking metaphors be fucking lit as shit, bro. Like, damn, y'all motherfuckers out here, like, my SP ain't conformed, but you holding the old version of them hostage. Or you be like, I'm trying to manifest love with a new person, but you got a belief system that all you attract a narcissist that you're holding hostage too. Like god damn. And that's why you feel like shit when you think of those things, because that energy, those emotions are trying to be released. That's why whenever I talk to anyone, okay, I'm like, if you are feeling a particular type of way, whether you pissed, whether you sad, whatever the fuck it is, and the feeling ain't good in your fucking vessel, you gotta let that motherfucker go. Let it go. However it takes you to process. That's why anyone who is manifesting a person that you have history with, and you feel a constriction, or you feel heavy, or you feel it just ain't feeling pleasant, okay? You might experience the sensation differently in your vessel, but you think of the old story, because you're holding it hostage. And it's trying to escape, but you're holding on to it. Let it go. Let it go. However you need to do that. And I can't tell you how long it's going to take for you to release negative emotions, because I don't know. I ain't you. You're God. You tell me. You tell me, as creator of your universe, how do you let negative emotions go? Just think to yourself, okay? How do you let them go? What do? You go for a walk, you go for a run, you jerk off, you take a hot shower, do you cry, do you fucking use a punching bag? What do you do? Okay, because if you have pent up emotions about someone, you know, you might manifest them back. I'm not saying you can't, but if you don't let those out, you're just gonna keep reanimating those emotions, and the motherfucker could show up, but then everything is good for a month, and then the ego is like, what about that old story? And boom, shit hits the fan. And this is why so many motherfuckers have these same relationship patterns, because they don't let the emotion out. And your emotion is not what's manifesting. So motherfuckers, this is why I say fuck your feelings. I don't mean fuck your feelings. I say let them go, okay? Because they're there to guide you about what belief systems you have, but they're not what's manifesting. What is manifesting is your awareness. So you can say, I am aware that I'm not these emotions. They feel like shit, I must have quit. I let them go. But I am not these emotions. I never was, and I'm not going to hold them hostage anymore, because I travel light. And however these emotions need to process through me, I'm going to let them go freely. However long it takes. because this is what I want, and I will travel light, and I will hold no hostages because I'm free, motherfucker. And that's what true freedom is. You hold no hostages, you carry no fear, because that's where fear comes from. It comes from these hostages that you're holding, metaphorically speaking, in your fucking mind. This is why, even to like change the subject from specific motherfuckers to money. Oh, but I gotta keep my job, because if I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills. Oh, you holding that hostage. That's a belief system. Who said you need a job? Was it society? Oh my God. Did that belief come from you? You were taught that. Yeah, you fucking were. You holding that belief hostage. You don't need a job. You are the fucking currency. Does God, okay, right, let's just take this, right? I am the Lord and there is none else. Oh, I gotta go send out my resume. No. That's not how we fucking roll in the palace. You know what I'm saying? In the kingdom of heaven, we don't fucking do that shit. You're holding that belief system hostage. Think of all your fucking belief systems. Think of all the belief systems. I promise you, you're gonna find a lot of hostages. You ain't letting those motherfuckers out. You holding them there. Whew. Man. Gotta let them go. It's coming from fear. It's coming from fear. It really is, I promise you. So anytime that you feel a constriction in your vessel, okay, and this is going to be anywhere, okay? It could be your stomach, it could be your heart. You just start, oh, like it gets tight, it starts feeling weird, okay? Like unpleasant. When you think of something, there is likely a belief system in there. It could be from a societal program, something you personally witnessed, something you personally experienced, but there is a belief there that is coming from a place of fear, which is coming from the ego, which is not your God self. And only you know what that is. I can only guide you to tell you what is real and what is not real. And feeling like shit in your vessel, and I mean like from an emotional standpoint, even from a physical standpoint, that's not natural, that's not God. God is perfect. God is perfection walking in every fucking moment. Okay? It's your ego. And it's your ego that's there holding these hostages because it thinks the hostages are going to try to hurt you. So the ego, it's like, okay, you know, we can understand the ego where it's trying to protect you because that's just the job of it. That's just the design of the fucking programming. Okay, your ego is there to protect you. It's there to say, I am in this vessel. You all are in your own vessels and there's separateness, okay, to an extent. The God self knows no such thing. So when you are operating from the ego, it wants an answer right away. It wants 3D proof, and it's holding on to things that have happened which seem like they happened in the past in linear time, because the ego cannot compute quantum, okay? It cannot. Okay, so we have the 3D level, whereas, you know, the different consciousness planes, the ego is here, okay? Your God self is all the way up here. Your God self is seeing everything all at once. Your ego can only see like a linear perspective. I mean, you can look at an imaginal scene and you know that it already exists from like the God level, but the ego, it can't even compute. It's not the job of the ego to compute that type of stuff. And I get asked this a lot. How do we get rid of the ego? Friend, you ain't getting rid of the ego unless you discard the vessel entirely, because this is just the design of the matrix. The ego comes, it's like part of the fucking software. It's fucking here. You're not going to get rid of it. So what you want to do is think of it like, you know, you have to train it. Okay, you have to train it. It's like, if you want to think of like, if you have a fucking guard dog, okay, if you don't train it, if you don't give it obedience training and say, I am the master, you work for me, motherfucker, that shit gonna be barking, attacking everyone and everything. Okay, only your ego, your ego can attack things from the outside, right? This is why you yell. This is why you get angry. This is why you want instant results. This is why you pop off on motherfuckers. It's the ego attacking. Ruff, 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 ruff. Oh, that was super scary. Okay, but the ego also attacks you. You see? And the ego doesn't attack you physically. It's like going in your mind. Motherfucker, you see what this motherfucker did? You see this? You see this? Right? But it's creating thoughts in you that you don't want. So if you don't train the ego, which the fucking guard dog, right? It's there to protect you. Okay. So you're not looking at it as bad, and you're not looking to get rid of it, because you're not going to get rid of it as long as you're in a fucking vessel. You're just like, all right, I understand the job of the ego. It's cool. But you know what? This is my homie right here. Right. And the ego might at first, right? Okay, like let's say your fucking homie is knocking on the door. You got this fucking guard dog, whatever the fuck, right? And you're like, no, that's my friend. The dog is be like, no. What do you got to do? No, this is my friend. The dog is still gonna, it's gonna try to pop off, gonna try to do something. Okay, but your job as the master of the ego, because you are the master of the ego, because you are God, you are the consciousness, okay? You have to tame it. You're not destroying it. You're going to keep the ego there as a nice pet, like the dog. It's there. You know what I mean? But you're the one in control, and you have to teach the ego that. You're not getting rid of it. You are taming it. You are training it. Just like in the beginning, what I said about the indoctrination camps. So think of it as you're indoctrinating your ego from the God perspective. You're training it what's right and wrong. Okay. So the ego can be good. I'm not saying it isn't, because there are some times where if there is some sort of disrespect, physical or mental, any type, then yes, you know what I mean? You want the ego to be there to defend you. Okay, you don't want to be sitting there loving light and let a motherfucker pop you in the face. No. Okay, but you have to train it. You can't just let it run amok, because it might start attacking you. And it's not going to attack you physically. Like I said, it'll tell you the thoughts, but this motherfucker ain't your friend. Even though you're like, no, it's my friend. Then it's going to start attacking you. No. You remember what this motherfucker did 16 years ago on the 17th of January? And like, that's the ego. That's all the ego. So you have to train it, not only to not react to something in the 3D, right? Okay, so your SP, I'm going to give you an example, the fucking guard dog shit. Your SP said they were going to call you. They said they were going to call you. They don't call. Nope. The whole night goes by. You pissed. You're fucking livid. You're like, this motherfucker, fuck this goddamn motherfucker, right? That's your ego. You get a fucking text the next morning, hey, you flip the fuck out, motherfucker. Who the fuck you think you is? You fucking lied to me. You said you were gonna fucking call me. What the fuck were you doing? Who the fuck were you with? Why didn't you call me? You're a fucking liar. I know you were out doing this. Ego, right? So when something like that happens, okay, know that it's not your God self, it's your ego. So that was a visceral reaction of, let's say a story about your SP, right? Because you might be used to popping off, okay? Because the ego, remember, is trying to protect you. Oh, this motherfucker done lied to you. I'm gonna go attack them. So you can say, no, it's okay. It's okay, doggy. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe they fell asleep. Let's just hear them out. That is how you train a situation in like, you're spiraling or you're triggered and you don't want to react to a situation the way a former version of you would, because remember, it's the ego, because the ego can only go by what is known before. You had to teach it a new trick. You teach the dog a new trick and you say, no, it's okay, puppy. It's okay. No. This is our friend. SP loves me. SP would never hurt me. SP would never lie to me. SP just simply fell asleep. Now the dog is getting calm. It's like, okay. I'm hearing you out. Okay. Your SP, right? They text you, hey, you're like, hey, what's up? Right? This is the next morning after they didn't fucking call you. Yo, I fucking had a long day at work. I knocked out as soon as I got home. I'm so sorry. How about I make it up to you this evening? I'll take you out. We'll go here. We'll go there. We'll go anywhere you want to. That's the difference. You didn't flip out. You changed the narrative on the outside. That was one example of it. Now, an example of how you train the ego to not attack you, because that was an example of how you train the ego not to, react from the outside. So it's the same thing. We're going to keep the fucking dog analogy because I fucking like that shit. And I'm going to replay this song because I like it. And we still on the 80s soundtrack, by the way. Fuck yeah. So how the ego doesn't attack you is, let's say you already made the decision, okay? You're like, you know what, the SP, I know that there's nothing going on. I'm just going to wait for them to get back to me because I know that they love me. I know that they would never hurt me. I know that I'm the most important thing in their entire universe. Okay, cool, right? But then the ego is like, what you mean, motherfucker? What you mean? What you mean? They said they were going to call you, right? And now it's like you've already made the conscious decision that you're not going to do anything in the 3D, but the ego is going at you. But what if they're doing this? Remember this motherfucker from 10 years ago when they didn't call you back, and what the fuck were they doing that whole time? And those attacks can even be more ferocious, the attacks on your fucking self in your own mind, because you can be your own worst enemy, right? Not like because you want to be, but because the ego has to defend you. So it's like, what you gonna tolerate this shit again? You remember that shit? It's gonna be like hands on the hips and that dog gonna be barking and shit, and you're like, gotta do the same thing. I am choosing not to react in a way that I always did because I know that SP loves me. I know that SP would never hurt me. And I understand that SP is a different individual than the motherfucker 10 years back. So what if the motherfucker 10 years back did that? SP is not doing that. SP is an entirely new person. And SP loves me and I trust SP. And you're going to give that self-talk in your fucking mind. And if you need to do affirmations to do this, that's fine. But, it can be helpful if you're thinking of it in like, you're talking to someone else, because literally it's like your God self talking to your ego, trying to calm it down. So that's what you ideally want to do. You get the ego to work for you rather than saying, oh, I want to get rid of the ego. You fucking can't, bro. You fucking can't. So you have to work with it. That's all. So, I don't know how long I was fucking talking, but goddamn. And I don't know how long it would take for individuals to train their ego, because remember, all your consciousness is different. Those are just some examples. I like to do role play because I'm very animated and I have a lot of voices in my head. So it helps to think of the ego as like another person or a fucking pet or whatever the fuck. Okay. But that's how you do it. Okay. Because the ego needs to be trained. It does not need to be flushed down the toilet, because you can't do that anyway. You just want to calm it down. You just want to calm it down. Okay. That's all you have to do. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you. I wasn't even legit. Wow, I wasn't even looking at the chat this whole time because whatever. I mean, this will be on YouTube for all you guys. But when I get, with the fucking lives, I get very fucking animated. So I feel like there's some good information in here that a lot of individuals will be able to benefit from. I don't even know how long I was fucking talking. All right. Replay this. Let's replay this song again. So I'll do a few questions. I don't want to keep this like super, super long. I think I'll wait until I get that fucking puzzle piece. Because that puzzle piece where I have to like tell AI that I'm not AI. When that comes up, it typically means I've been talking for like an hour. So how do you control the ego from fear? The ego is based in fear. You don't control the ego from fear. You control the ego from the God vantage point, which is beyond fear. Because whenever you're in a place of fear or wanting to control something, that's not the God self. The God self is just chill. Like the most zen motherfucker, like, I mean, tripping balls, okay, painting in the forest and shit. That's your God self. Oh, here we go, the puzzle piece. Oh shit, look, I manifested that. So I have been talking for an hour. Holy shit, didn't even feel like that. Oh, Jesus Christ, unable to verify. Is it because I have nails? All right. Yeah, I manifested that, didn't I? Because I wasn't even thinking. I was just like, yo, it feels like I've been talking for some time. I wonder where that puzzle piece is. And then that puzzle piece came. Fuck yeah. So, let's see. What is your take on intuition versus manifesting? Intuition is something that just comes to you out of nowhere, whereas conscious manifesting is you typically think of the idea first and then implement, getting that thing. So intuition can be like, go to the grocery store. And yes, it can have something to do with your manifestation, but it's typically just not something you're thinking of. They might be intuitive hunches to lead you to your manifestation, but they're typically not something that you're, computing or thinking about. Whereas like conscious manifestation is you're thinking, okay, I want this money. So that's what I'm getting. It'll be more of like a decision, whereas an intuition is just kind of like poof, it appears out of nowhere. That's my opinion on it. But I do think the two of them go hand in hand because sometimes when you make a decision that whatever you want to manifest, your intuition will lead you there if you are in tune with your intuition. And not everyone is, okay, but everyone is consciously manifesting. It's just that some individuals are more open and receptive to receiving nudges from their intuition. So there have been times when I've consciously set a destination in the fucking GPS. I'm like, I want to manifest this. This is what I want. And then out of nowhere, I get like a voice in my head telling me to do this, or I get inspired to do that. And then I didn't know that it had anything to do with the thing that I was consciously manifesting, but it led me to that. And then I realized that after, and I was like, oh, okay, but I'm someone who I listen to my intuition more than I listen to like ego, honestly. And, it serves me very, very well. So, how to tell the difference between your intuition and ego is that your ego is going to try to demand something from you, whereas your intuition is not. It's just going to be like, here you go. Where the ego is like, take this. And your intuition is like, here you go. Ego is like, take this. Okay, like that's the difference. So like the ego is more forceful because remember, it wants to control, whereas the intuition doesn't try to control. It's like, here. Like that's really the how you can tell the difference. The ego makes you overthink. I could agree with that. I can agree with that. I mean, because the ego is looking for logical ways to do shit. It's not, saying, okay, it's done, right? Your intuition can be like, yeah, you declared that this is what you want. It is done now. It is complete. You don't need to do anything else. I'll just guide you. But the thing with intuition is that you're not going to know when it's going to kick in. So for me, I don't this is what I call 5D chess. And I know that there are a lot of different versions of what people call 5D chess, but in my opinion, in my experience, 5D chess in regards to manifestation is where, the chessboard is like the 3D, okay? So you're in the 3D from your perspective in the avatar suit, and you can't really see like what's going on in the entire chessboard. So you're just kind of like standing there like, okay, like, you're looking at, what is that saying? You're looking at the forest for the trees. You're mistaking the trees for the forest, but you get what I mean, right? You just see the trees in front of you. You don't see the forest as a bigger picture, okay? So 5D chess is the intuition, in my opinion, and it's like your higher self, right? I mean, higher, your higher self is seeing the forest, the trees, it's seeing everything, it's seeing the entire chessboard. And really, for me, I like to just stand still and not do shit unless my higher self swoops down and moves my avatar. And that's your intuition. So how this happens is the ego is going to want to force something. Okay. So if you're waiting for a text back, your ego is going to be like, they didn't text you, text them, just call them, do a drive-by outside the house, whatever the fuck, right? But your intuition is like, nah, just chill. And then maybe you're inspired to text them the next day. And then you text them, and that moment they're just pulling up outside your house. And they're like, yo, I lost my phone, or whatever. Something that shows that there was nothing to be fearful of the whole time. Where the ego is going to keep you trying to move from a place of fear to get answers in the 3D. Your intuition is just like, just do this. And it might not make sense. There were so many times that like, I call it the voice. I have this voice in my head, which has been talking to me for years, which I obviously is my higher self, but it'll just tell me to do the most random shit. And I'm like, what? Like it literally makes no sense. But then I'm like, oh, so I personally don't move unless I am guided to move. That's just how I operate, and things are very fluid for me. I don't look at logic. I can be logical with certain things, but with manifesting, I'm full delulu. I'm just like, yeah, this is happening. And I just allow myself to be moved. And that's really, like successful manifestations, they're really not going to make sense to your ego. Okay. They're really not. It's going to look like some coincidence or a twist of fate or whatever third dimensional language you want to use. It's just to be like, wait, what? Like that appeared out of nowhere. Even to the most logical individual, it still might not make sense. I'm just enjoying my coffee. I don't know what, I see ego's opportunities for growth. Yeah, I mean, the ego is there to help you, to show you what belief systems you have going on. It's not there to, like, it is there to protect you, but it's not your enemy. Because remember, it's still like, you see, here's the thing with manifesting. Motherfuckers hate their ego. They hate the ego. And then they're like, oh, but I want to get rid of it. Okay. So you hate the ego, but you're the one that's judging the ego as bad or good. So you shouldn't judge the ego as anything other than it's just there. It's part of the software. And again, everything is your fucking judgment. Everything. Your belief systems are coming from judgment. Okay. Like let's take, I'm going to use a light example. Okay. Motherfuckers that have iPhone versus motherfuckers that have Android. My phone is better. Oh, you got the green text bubble. Like, that's a judgment. I mean, really, and it's a belief system, because in reality, they're both smartphones. It's just your perception is viewing one as better than the other. And maybe logically one suits you more than the other one, but it's still a fucking belief. Everything is a fucking belief. Everything, I promise you. Okay, so if you're looking at the ego as bad, if you're looking at spirituality as really good, and you believe in turning the other cheek when someone disrespects you, then that's how it's going to play out for you. You could be turning one cheek when a motherfucker disrespects you. Oh, I'm spiritual. Then you'd be turning the other cheek, a motherfucker disrespects you. Before you know it, you'd be bending over, spreading your cheeks for that motherfucker who disrespect you. So even with spirituality, there's still limiting beliefs about self-worth and value and self-respect. You have to understand, you are the Lord and there is none else. And yes, it's true that if someone is showing you something that you don't like, in a way, a part of you did create it. But if you're not paying attention to it, you're just like, all right, whatever, fuck this, I'm done, I'm over it. It can't present itself again. Okay, so even you viewing something as a disrespect is another belief system. Because some motherfucker, let's say they're into that. They into some kinky shit. They want to get smacked around. They gonna get turned on by that. Where someone else might be like, who the fuck is you? you know? So everything is a belief system. And yes, you know, we're all different gods having our own experience. And I have beliefs, and I'm sure you guys do too. Okay. I believe in astrology. I believe in tarot. I do, but I don't force it down anyone's throat. But at the same time, I don't believe in those things at a detriment to me. Like I am bound by them. I look at them for fun. Oh, okay. You know, so my star sign is this. Okay, cool. I look at the positive traits. Yeah, I resonate with that. Negative traits? Nah, motherfucker, I'm a pimp. Ain't nothing negative about me. I'm fucking perfect. Do you see what I'm saying? So you can believe in anything, and there's nothing wrong. Like this whole matrix is built up of beliefs, right? I believe that I'm talking on a phone to you all, right? You see what I'm saying? Is that really happening? And in my mind it is. So yeah, it's fucking happening, right? That's my perception. But beliefs aren't bad or good. They're just what is going to be presented to you. I heard this thing somewhere that there's like and please do not quote me on this, okay? But I heard this thing that there's some country and they don't have like a word for the color green, okay? And you can look this up if you don't, you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't know specifically what it is, but there's a country and they don't have a word for the color green. And it's like, okay, so wherever they're at, maybe they're isolated. I don't fucking know. It's something to that effect. And it was in the, like these metaphysical studies, like, okay, they don't have a word for that color because they don't see it. Right. And it's like, so if you don't see something, it's not in your awareness. Okay. Even though you are everyone and everything. But like I said, with that metaphor, okay, if something is presented to you, like someone disrespects you and your ego is like, ooh, right? Even though that we train the puppy, the dog is like, his ears are up and shit. He's like, oh, and you're like, who cares? And then the dog goes back to sleep, right? You like the blank TV screen. There's so many movies playing, but you shut the TV off. It's not in your awareness. Like, yeah, it's still, the TV still exists, okay? That moment in time where that motherfucker said or did something, it still exists, but I'm looking over here. I don't even give a shit. That's the quickest way to get rid of fucking anything, is to really not give a shit. It's the absolute, because now you're not fighting with it. You're not trying to revise it. You're just like, that shit don't exist. That person doesn't exist. That person never existed. Don't fucking matter. You just gotta take your awareness off it, but don't say something never happened and then go back and try to recapture the hostage of it fucking happening. You gotta just be one and done. That shit never happened. That person was, what is that? That never existed in my reality. Oh, I never had that job. I never posted that pic. Man, I never smashed that motherfucker. Nope. I'm a virgin. Never happened. But you can't go back there. If you declare something as not existing, you are the only one responsible for making it not exist. That never happened. What you talking about? Oh. Exactly. Everything is fucking meaningless. Someone here is asking about my yes, I do coaching on WhatsApp, either by phone call or by text voice notes. If you want more information, just DM me on here, or you can send a message to my website, which is linked in my bio. Is intuition real or just another belief system? Ooh, that's a good question. So here's the thing, right? Intuition, in my opinion, it's not a belief system. It's just something that is like the law of assumption, law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, right? Some individuals don't believe that they're creating their reality. Does that make this a belief system? It can to someone who doesn't believe in it, remember, but if you're really looking at what is, okay, you're creating experiences with your mind. And once you've had, you know, the experience of knowing that you consciously created something, there's no going back. There's no going back. Okay. And it's this, so it's not, manifestation is not a belief system to someone who has experienced it, right? It just is. Okay. And the same thing with intuition. Once you've experienced it, it just is. Okay. It's like, in my opinion, it's like your higher self or God or source, universe, whatever you want to call it. But in my opinion, it's not a belief system because it's just something that is. So someone cannot believe in it, and that would be a belief system, but then they experience something and then they're like, whoa, like what was that? I can't explain it. You see what I'm saying? So it really depends on, again, on the perspective, because if you've experienced something, no one can take that away from you. You can't. And there are some things that are just, they surpass a belief. It's just, this is what it is. It's a knowing. Okay. And intuition is not a belief. It's a knowing. Every time that you've gotten an intuitive hunch, you've been right. Okay. So it's not something that is a belief. It's like, this is what it is, period. In my opinion, which I guess someone can say that's a belief too, but no one, if you've experienced consciously creating your reality, or if you've, experienced intuition, no one can take that away from you. And you know that it's not a belief. You know that it just is. It's natural. It's a natural order of things. Someone said, time isn't real, never think about time, always go back to being and having. That's great advice right there. That's great advice, because your God self doesn't know what time is. Time is a construct designed, to measure space in the 3D matrix. And if any of you want more information about this, I suggest watching the movie Lucy. They get really into that, how time is just how you measure third dimensional space. Okay. It's a unit of measure. That's all it is. It doesn't exist. So when you're just existing, being in the moment now, this is why when I was just talking, I'm like, I feel like I was talking for a while, but I also feel like it didn't go for a while. And then the puzzle piece came up, like I said, because I'm just in the moment. So time is not existing, but I was already talking for more than an hour, and it feels like 5 minutes. So that's why, like I say in a lot of my little stories, you could be waiting for the microwave, and that minute could seem like, oh, thank you. That minute could seem like 6 years. But if you just go, you pop your fucking shit in the microwave, you go do something else, and then next thing you know, the shit is beeping, and you're like, oh, that was fast. So time is a funny thing, because it fucking seems to disappear when you're not focused on it. So when you're just, this is why I say, guys, like, you have to be fully delusional. You are fully delusional, because technically you're hallucinating your reality, because everything is your perception of it. So you are delusional. This is this is why I can look at a situation and someone else can look at a situation, and we'll see two different things. So who's correct, right? It's the perception. So when you're being delusional, and I mean like fully all in, I got my rose colored shades on and I ain't never taking them off. When you're fully delusional, no matter what's happening, this is happening because I already have what I want. That's happening because I have what I want. This motherfucker said this because I have what I want. If you just go all in like that, and you listened to the things that are, uplifting you, and you're like, this is nice. This is nice. I'm feeling this. Okay. Rather than shit that's constricting you, because again, someone's gonna ask, oh, but feelings don't manifest. No, feelings don't manifest, okay? But how you can tell if something is, and I used this metaphor before too, okay, how you could tell if something is like, you know, coming from a place of fear or coming from a place of your God self, is that it's like your negative emotions are like you touching the hot stove, like, oh, get away. You don't want to go there, right? So if you're thinking about something or you're affirming and you're feeling neutral, or if you can conjure a feeling of feeling good, that's great, but it's not necessary. Your aim is neutrality. That's really your aim. Calm, peace, neutrality. And if you can just summon up emotions out of nowhere, feeling really good for an event that, you know, is happening in the quantum field but hasn't technically occurred in 3D reality, that's even better, but is not a requirement. But I will tell you, you still need to direct those emotions, okay? So you want to say, I'm feeling so good because I'm a multimillionaire, honey. That's what you got to do. Okay, this way you're still giving a command to the matrix like, oh, okay, they're feeling good because they're a multimillionaire. Cool. Instead of just, I'm feeling great. Then it's like, what are you feeling great about? You know what I'm saying? You got a foot massage, like someone wiped your ass. You got free ice cream. Like, you got to specify, okay? Because it's still the law. So feeling is really, in my opinion, your guidance, okay? So when something feels like shit, you must have quit. It's like touching the hot stove and saying, well, stay away from there, okay? But if you're feeling neutral, or if you're really feeling good and you're still directing your thoughts towards what you want, that's the direction you want to go. So that's what I mean by being full delusional. So if you're someone who isn't a visual, or you can't just summon feelings, you know, to flow out of your asshole on fucking command, then you want to find an affirmation that's going to bring you the most peace and calm in the moment. And that's going to be different for everyone. So if you're really spiraling and you're triggered and you sitting there reciting, you know, I am perfect, I'm amazing, like, and it's not doing it in that moment, you have to tweak it for that moment, because every moment is now and every moment is brand new. So even what worked the last time you were spiraling might not work this time again. And that is the shit with manifesting, okay? Because if you are looking, okay, and yes, you can use it as a guideline. This method works the best for me because I've had success with it in the past. Yes, you can use that because you feel comfortable with it and you have seen success with it, but it's still the ego. Do you see, like, there's so many fucking seeming paradoxes in this manifestation shit. But let's say me, okay, I'll use myself as an example. I'm a visualizer, okay? I've been doing it naturally even before I knew what manifestation was. Visualizer, okay? That and affirmations, even before I even knew what affirmations were, okay? My two big things, okay? So if I'm going by that, like, yeah, like if I want to manifest something brand new from this now moment, odds are my ego is going to say, because remember, the ego is still your fucking buddy, right? Once you tamed him, once you calm the fucking puppy down, your ego is going to be like, well, hey, this worked for you. Right? You see, your ego is going to help you, right? He's going to want to play a little fetch. He's going to bring you a bone like, hey, here, master, I'm helping you, right? You see, because your ego can be beneficial in ways. That's why I said you want to tame him. You want to be good to him. You don't want to get rid of him because he can serve you as well for things that you deem as positive. But your ego is going to say, okay, so me, I've had success with visualization and affirmations. Here you go. Why don't you try this because that's worked for you in the past, but it's still not coming from the God self. That's how trippy this shit is. Because the God self is not looking at the past. It's just saying you have the thing now. You don't need to do jack shit. You could fucking sit on the toilet bowl and jerk off and you could get your shit tomorrow. And that's the trippiest shit with the manifesting. So if you're spiraling and you said an affirmation last week that made you feel good, but this time it ain't doing shit, it's because the now moment is completely different. You are a different motherfucker than you were last week, homie homes. I promise you that. So you have to tweak shit and you have to go with the flow. That's why when motherfuckers in the manifestation community talk about, you want to be in the flow state. You know what the flow state is? It's like you're just allowing every moment to just be what it is. And if a certain technique worked for you in the past, but it's not working now, or a certain affirmation work, bro, it's a different fucking moment in time. So you have to continuously change yourself, because you are continuously changing, right? Maybe the version of you where you were triggered and you sat on the toilet bowl and your fucking hands, however the fuck you were, right? Reciting with mudras and shit. Okay, maybe that worked the last time, but you've evolved since then. So now you need a different mantra to suit the new version of you that didn't even exist last week in the 3D realm, right? That version of you it will always exist, okay? But you have evolved. And I have a video on this, how you're a time traveler, because you're the one that's traveling through these different segments of time, okay? So last week no longer fucking exists. You're not that person any fucking more. That's why you gotta go with it. You just gotta say, okay, in this moment right now, what's gonna make me feel good? That's it. And again, this has nothing to do with the manifestation. I'm talking about if you are triggered. If you are triggered, you want to get yourself to baseline neutral just so you can have an amazing 3D experience. But this is not what's manifesting. This is the difference. Okay? If you are triggered, you're going to find the thing that's going to calm you down, bring you to baseline neutral the fastest, whatever it is. Okay? It might be the same thing that worked last week, but it might not. So when you're going with the flow, you have to understand that, yes, maybe there have been some techniques that have worked for you in the past. Maybe, let's say it's affirmations, okay? But you've evolved since then. So now, like, yeah, you can use affirmations still, but you want to try different affirmations because you have evolved since that moment last week. And that's really, the thing with the flow state, because your God self is not looking at the time. Your God self is just like, okay, this is what it is. I'm chilling. I got my shit now because I am my shit. I am everyone. I am everything. Nothing is separate from me. You don't need to, that's why you don't need to do a technique. I mean, the technique is there to help you stay in the state, but it's not doing shit. It's there to really just give your ego something to do. Like you give a dog a bone to entertain it, right? Like I said, you want to compare the ego to the fucking dog? Okay, ego, here, you're going to feel good if you have something to do. So here's some affirmations. That's really what it is. I don't know how the fuck I got started with that, but you got to do it with the flow state. You just got to be in the flow. Whatever happens, you got to say that whatever it is, okay? It could be, rainbows and, unicorns sharding fucking, gold coins. If that's what's happening, yeah, this is happening because I have what I want, okay? If you got a fucking circus sideshow happening and you just observing the clowns like, yep, this is happening because I have what I want. Okay, you just have to go with it. You don't want to fight against the 3D because the 3D is technically dead anyway. So I think I'm gonna okay, last question. What would an example of keeping your awareness on what you want without focusing on time? You really, in that question, you answered it, right? So let's say you want $1 million. Okay, you're aware that you want the $1 million, but you're not focused on time because your awareness is just on the $1 million. So you have that, right? That's what you want. You have decided that, okay? And only your ego is focused on time. Your God self is not focused on time because your God self is all time. Okay. So what you do is just say, I have $1 million. Or if you're visual, you visualize your bank balance with your name on it and in the name of your bank. You say available balance $1 million. Okay. And that's what you do. If a bill comes in the mail, all right, I have $1 million. It's cool. That's it. Okay. If someone asks you, where's the $1 million? I mean, if you're talking to someone about your manifestations, you'd be like, it's in my bank account. They're like, I'm going to see proof. Like, I don't need to prove shit to you. I'm God, motherfucker. Who the fuck is you asking me for proof? And that's how you handle it. Like, you're not looking at time. You're not looking at anyone else questioning you. And most importantly, if you start to look like the date, the rent is coming up. What day is it? What time is it? When is it going to clear? I have $1 million. Doesn't matter. It's here now. And your ego might be like, bruh, like are you absolutely sure about that? Are you sure? You'd be like, yeah, I'm God, I'm sure about everything. I am $1 million, so it's here now because I am it. And this is where, especially with timing, you know, you want to do other things. And I know this sounds wild and probably like the last thing that you want to do. You don't want to be looking at calendar days or when is it going to happen. You want to say it's here now. It doesn't matter. It's here now. I'm already it. It's already here. It's already done. And if anyone asks you, or something that appears in the 3D that seems like it's contradictory, remember, you're still creating that contradictory. So if you get a bill in the mail, okay, and then it's like, oh shit, the $1 million needs to be here now because the bill needs to be paid by this date. You're looking at time. Well, the $1 million is here now. So this bill showed me that my $1 million is here now. That's it. Everything. Boom, boom. And that's how you be fully, it's going to seem delusional because it goes against, like I said in the beginning, everything that you've ever been taught, programmed to do. But time doesn't exist on the God state. And if you or anyone else for that matter, you know, just, I'm not saying you specifically, but it just in general, if anyone, if I was even taught that there is no time, it just exists to measure third dimensional space, that everything is here now, then that would be my natural go-to rather than where is it? I'd be like, well, it's here now. And it would lessen the anxiety or the impatience, because if I know that everything is here now and I am everyone and I am everything, that's going to be my first instinct to not even look at time. I'm just like, okay, I am it. So it's here now. It doesn't matter. What time? Do you see what I'm saying? Because that would be my focus. So the more you train your ego to not look at time and to just make everything appear like you viewing it through the fucking rose tinted spectacles, that's how you're going to train yourself to get into this new belief system. And the new belief system would be more like a knowing, where you know that everything exists now and you never have anything to worry about because everything is now. So your problem, yeah, that can exist now potentially, but so does the solution. Everything is now. So that's how you know, you focus on the thing that you want. $1 million. Yep, my $1 million is here. Doesn't matter what's going on in the 3D. Oh, look what time it is. Look what day it is. Don't matter. I am my $1 million. So it's fucking here. It's here now. Someone asks you, yeah, it's in my bank account. Let me see proof. Fuck you, motherfucker. Who the fuck is you? I'm God. Don't fucking question me. The fuck. So that's what I got. You're welcome. Okay, yes, so I think I am gonna hop off here because I don't want this to get too long and then not be able to upload it to YouTube. So I know that you guys, I appreciate you all for joining. I know I wasn't like super interactive in the chat with the questions and stuff, but I appreciate you all being here. And you know, maybe the next live I'll just do like a strictly Q&A one after my little short sermon. But it just, this whole thing, it turned into a fucking sermon. But I think, you know, when I be in the mood, because remember, every moment is brand new, so I never know what's gonna happen when I go live. I just kind of go with the flow. So I feel like, you know, this is a good feel for it, and I will put this on YouTube, and you know, you all can watch the entire thing there, because I was just talking nonstop, bro, like holy Jesus. Okay. Jesus, Mary and Buddha, I was just preaching. So thank you all for the gifts. Thank you all for the likes and the shares and the follows, and just, you know, everyone chilling and having good times in here. I appreciate you all. I love you all. I intend that all of you get exactly what it is that you want, because you fucking deserve it. And that's what I got for you. So stay tuned for YouTube, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.